So we've been waiting on it for a long time, man. Didn't really know how everything was going to go with the NBA. Lots of speculation over the past couple weeks. We talked a little bit about the speculation, but now it's legit. 22 teams are going to go to Disney World to finish the NBA season there. The 16 playoff teams right now, and then the 6 other teams are going to be fighting for the 8th seed. The NBA said if a number 8 seed is up by 4 games or more at the end of the regular season, they earn the final playoff spot. If not, that unlocks a play-in tournament between the number 8 seed and the number 9 seed. The number 8 seed would only need to win 1 tourney game, while number 9 would need 2 victories to grab the postseason berth. So if quarantine's been boring for you and, the last dance has been over for a minute, the NBA is coming back. It's going to be fun. Obviously, I just read the circumstances of the play-in and the teams fighting for the number 8 seed, but for the most part, we're pretty sure of what teams are in the playoffs and what teams are really going to make a title run, because this is the NBA. And this year, a little bit more diversity as far as good teams and teams that can compete than other years. But at the same time, I don't know if too many of us are looking outside of the Lakers, Clippers, maybe the Bucks. But what's good, man? How do you feel about all this?
I like it, man. I like it. I'm just excited basketball is back, first and foremost, man.
For sure.
It's man, when you get to playoff basketball and you're in the summer and there's no other sport other than baseball, but the baseball don't hold the same type of weight that the NBA does.
Absolutely.
So missing that, these last 3 months, and it would have been game 1 of the finals would have been yesterday. So just getting it back is just awesome, man, because we're both big, sports fans, but we love basketball, and basketball is such a great growing sport. But for the 8 seed, I like it because it gets creativity. Like the creativity, you need that right now. And what the NBA tried to do, I get you don't want to hurt, because there's a couple teams in the West that were, 2.5, 3 games back from that 8 spot with, 17 games to go. And some teams had, easier schedules than others. Like per se, Memphis had the hardest schedule going forward, and they were locked up at the 8 seed, or not locked up, but they're at the 8 seed. So I like the creativity. I really do. And the 4 games back, I really got no issue with it. And then if there's a team, that's within that distance, you got to win 2 games. And that 8 seed, you gotta win 1 game to get in there. So, it adds a little creativity and a little fire to the pre-playoff intensity.
No doubt about it, man. I'm glad to have it back. It's going to be that creativity is something, especially because we did have so much lost time. So it does add a little element to it. But at the end of the day, like I said before, man, we kind of know who's going to be, riding this thing for the long haul. And who do you think benefited from this the most? Like, who do you think benefited from this break? There's the 3 teams I mentioned. You could throw Boston in there maybe. As a contender, and if you believe in Philly, maybe I don't. But with a team like the Lakers, man, you got LeBron in there, a great player. Nobody's doubting his greatness. Everybody has him within their top 3. I think still most people might have him at 1 as far as best player in the world goes. But he is older. He's on the older side, so this could really have benefited him. But at the same time, Kawhi has been dealing with some injuries and stuff like that. Paul George dealt with a little something here and there. So who do you think benefits from this the most?
No, all bias aside, you already know I'm a LeBron guy. Most people do, but I think it really did benefit the Lakers the most. And I got a couple reasons why that I choose the Lakers. And one being right now what we're going into it, it's the circumstances are different. We've never seen before. So it's going to require, and you would agree, an extra mental. You're going to have a stronger mental state, right? Capacity to execute, and it's going to be tough. You're going to be not locked up in a hotel room, but there's little less freedom than than typical. So the Lakers' chemistry, man, they've had the best chemistry the whole year. They clicked right on cylinders. LeBron, there's no surprise that LeBron gets his teams ready and clicking, and makes role players a little that been on the downside become better and look better again. So that chemistry from the Lakers is huge. They all play with each other. All the interviews that come out with their players, they all team dinners every night. LeBron's setting it up and stuff like that. So I think when it comes to the chemistry and how they've executed this year, certain plays. LeBron on the block and the post has been the number one play in the league this year. So with the chemistry, with the coaching, with LeBron, and you got AD, you got two top 7 players in the two top 5, 6, 7 players in the world with role players who have done the job, like a Dwight Howard and a Avery Bradley and players like that. I think they're really going to benefit the most. And you also get LeBron. You get playoff LeBron, and I know there's playoff Kawhi and whatnot. And he's a really good player in his own right. He last year he was a killer, but
yeah.
When we saw LeBron last time in the playoffs, 2018, he went on a run we haven't seen since MJ.
Right, here's the thing with LeBron is you get playoff LeBron's a different beast, it's a different animal. And I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but when he gets to the playoffs, it's you can't even really say much. But now coming off a nice little break, that chemistry's still there, like you said, and that mindset's still there. Playoff Bron is still playoff Bron, so it's just you're just fueling them more. Like you're giving them this time. There are going to be some complexities that we have to consider. Like you said, it can become more mental and everything like that.
And I think he's the guy. I think LeBron's the guy for that.
He's the exactly guy for that. So he's gonna. Well, that could hamper a lot of people. That not LeBron not necessarily. It won't. It might not. And especially when he's the leader of your team, we know how much of a leader he is. Kawhi Leonard is a great player. But personally, I don't know if you know more than I do, but have you really heard anything about Kawhi being like that guy, like that dude who's gonna rally his whole team, like that leader? I don't really know. Last time in Toronto, I saw him just leaving dudes hanging as far as like fist bumps go and stuff. So I don't know how great of a leader he is as far as that goes.
Well, we all know Kawhi is it seems like his uncle speaks for himself.
Yeah, he's just a silent. He's a silent assassin.
Right, and then Kawhi, I mean, I'm sure like there's people say like Kawhi's a funny dude. I'm sure he's not just like some.
I mean, he is funny.
Stay in his corner in the locker room type of guy, but as a leader wise, I don't think he is. And there has been rumors, around February, around March, right before the NBA ended, that the Clippers had locker room issues. Like there was a thing that Montrezl Harrell, I believe, and Lou Williams, I believe it was those two players that were upset that, because last year, when they battled with Golden State in that first round and how they were not supposed to be anything, Doc Rivers took them boys like junkyard. They have that junkyard dog mentality. Yeah. Then you get Kawhi and Paul George, and it's like the team changes. Oh, you can sit out every other game. Oh, you want to sit out this game, Paul George? Take a 5-game vacation. Kawhi, your hamstring hurt a little bit while these guys go play hard and do all the hard work for y'all. It kind of sat wrong per rumors in the locker room, and that type of stuff is real, whether you like it or not. Because if you're not all in the locker room, it doesn't fully translate to the court, but there's some aspect to it. Like if you have a bad locker room, it will translate to the court at some point. Like it's kind of the Kevin Durant and the Draymond Green thing last year. They still won games, but they still lost games that they should have won. And when you start, getting in people's heads and you're like, man, is this dude playing for me? Are they playing for me? Or like, what's going on? Are they doing it for the team? Then it just becomes, hey, you start getting your head, and that's when the mental capacity has got to be, it's got to be large, and you got to have a strong mental game to overcome that.
Right. Here's the thing, though. I don't value that too much as far as the locker room issues and stuff like that. Like you got dogs on that team, like you mentioned. I mean, Pat Bev and Montrezl Harrell and Lou Will. Right, Lou Will's on the team, right?
They know the pecking order though. They want those top two to be dogs too. If they're gonna be dogs,
that's fine. But let them. That's fine. But it's the regular season. Paul George is a dog. But Paul George is that guy. I know he was taking some games off here and there, but like
playoffs.
We're gonna get to the playoffs, and those guys are gonna come together. I think especially because they are those types of fierce. They have that fierce mentality and that personality. They're gonna want to win. And when you have Kawhi, and the thing about those guys is as fierce as they are. They understand, like, we're great and we're very good. We were pretty damn good last year not because of our skill set necessarily. Like, yeah, Pat Bev's a good defender, and these guys can play. They have certain skill sets that are good, but not because of just that necessarily. But it's because of our will, like how we attack the game. So then when you bring in a Kawhi and you bring in a Paul George, who are just as gifted as anybody, arguably, that we've ever seen. Then you're able to combine that, and I think they're going to be able to. Yeah, the regular season stuff, man, they probably had to hash some things out. But when you get to the playoffs, everybody's trying to win. They're all going to be together, and they're going to be able to attack it in a similar fashion. And these guys are going to Kawhi and Paul George, I think, are gonna kind of have that, that playoff, if you want to call it playoff Kawhi, playoff Paul George or whatever, but they're gonna have that mentality going forward. So I'm not worried about that. But the one thing that I do think that the Lakers do have a slight advantage on, and as far as who benefited the most, I do agree with you that it's the Lakers, is that the mental aspect of it, where LeBron is maybe the most advanced ever in that aspect. Straight IQ. But yeah, and he's the best equipped to succeed in an environment like this. LeBron's not gonna be held down, and he's not gonna be slowed down really by something like this, especially in this at this time in his career. If it was 10 years ago, maybe, where his talent was transcendent, like early Miami LeBron was insane, but he wasn't elevated at the time or in the same way that he is now. So I do think that exact thing. There's things that multiple teams are going to benefit from, like the physical aspect of it, resting and stuff like that. Obviously, that still keeps, for me, the Clippers and the Lakers up top. But what separates the Lakers from the Clippers is that exact aspect, that mentality. Yeah. LeBron is going to be well rested. We already know that he's a top player in the game. Then when you add the mental aspect into it, it sets him far ahead.
Oh, for sure. And another quick little point, another reason I would have the Lakers above other teams, and specifically the Clippers. I think I'm not just saying the Lakers are so much better than the Clippers, because I think that's tough.
They're not.
I think that
I like the Clippers better. I want to specify that. I like the Clippers better than I like the Lakers. I like everything about them better. I like the way they attack the game. I like their personalities fit more. But I'm saying specifically who has benefited more. I think it's the Lakers.
So, but for me, who I think going forward, other than the kind of like the outside of the basketball part, is Paul George in the playoffs. We've seen what we get. He has playoff P nickname for a reason. It's not a good reason. He just doesn't. And I get they have Kawhi and you got LeBron on the Lakers, so we all know what they're going to do in the playoffs. Paul George, we haven't seen him do. He kind of shrinks. I mean, remember with the Joe Ingles thing. And I get the Lakers. You could argue
in Indiana, he kind of did his thing a little bit. He was the sole reason they were almost taking down LeBron in Miami.
But he was also like 0 for 13 in clutch shots. I don't know if that was just playoffs or his whole career.
You also had Roy Hibbert scoring like 0 points a game in every game, bro.
But Paul George in Oklahoma City, it's just he's so much better than what we have seen in the playoffs. His shooting percentages go down.
Right.
And what I've seen from Anthony Davis, sure, he's only won one playoff series, but I did see him average like 37.
But can we say that? Can we give Paul the excuse that he hasn't been with a winning organization? And I'm not saying the LA Clippers are necessarily a winning organization, but they have so much with him and Kawhi there, and then you give him that supporting squad.
Well, Oklahoma City
it's a different environment.
Oklahoma City was a winning organization.
Yeah, but they've never won before. Like, they've never won a championship before. Yeah, they went to the finals at one time. They win it every now and then, but
I mean, but the organization as a whole, they have the best front office in the league. The way they draft, shit, we already know. Just look at the players in Oklahoma City. The drafted, man, it's crazy how they have not won a title, but pieces there and here. But I mean, there's no reason. The Paul George thing. Yeah, he did his thing in Indiana a little bit, but there's no he did OKC, and what we've seen in the past from the playoffs is just he shrinks more. And I think because I know LeBron, I know what I'm getting from Kawhi, greatness. I just trust, I think, Anthony Davis a little more as that, that second star than I think of Paul George. And after that, it's just those role players, who you can get more from there. And that's why I would give the Lakers a little edge over the Clippers for that specific reason. Until I see Paul George really show up and be capable in the playoffs, man, I can't count on 39-40% every series.
And you didn't mention right now, but you did mention earlier the mental aspect of it. You think that obviously adds the whole gives them even more of an edge.
LeBron, I think, is the best equipped for it, and that team listens to their leader better than probably any other team. It's LeBron, so I think that team's gonna fall right in line perfectly.
I'll tell you what, I think the Clippers are still slight favorites. In my eyes, I like them better. I just like them better. Maybe not even favorites for me. I like the way they play the game better. But no, I do think the Lakers have a slight edge right now for really those reasons you said. But it remains to be seen if Paul George can maybe step up a little bit more, unlike he has in the past when the playoffs come around. So we're gonna have to see about that.
Sure.